Hi, I'm James Wantz. I'm the current Public Relations Manager for District 7, but I'm also a member of 3 Toastmasters clubs. I've been involved in the district since about 2008, so I'm pretty familiar with the legacy educational system that we have. So when Pathways rolled out, I decided I wanted to dive in, because Pathways, well, it's brand new. It's something I hadn't encountered before. Now, many of us who have been in Toastmasters for a while, we know about the 2 tracks, the communications track and the leadership track, the competent communicator manual, the competent leadership manual, and they both lead forward and meet in the distinguished Toastmasters. But with Pathways, there were 10 different individual paths that I could choose from. That's 5 times as many as the 2 tracks that I had previously. I'd heard a little bit about some of the projects that were inside of these tracks, and I immediately got excited when the ambassador at our spring conference started talking about all of these potential projects that we could do, electives like creating a podcast or writing a compelling blog or attending a networking event. Oh, okay, I didn't really like that one. I hate networking. Ugh. But the fact that I could do these projects, which hadn't been a part of Toastmasters, at least in my experience up to that point, kind of got me fired up for the new program. So when Pathways came out, I dove in. Now, I have a history of, theater. You may not be able to tell. I enjoy presentations, so I decided my first path was going to be presentation mastery, because I was going to dive into something new with something familiar. And so I went into Pathways for the very first time, looked at the project, started working through presentation mastery, and found a bunch of really cool nuggets, these golden nuggets embedded in the projects as I'm going. As I said, I've been a member since 2008, but I had yet to encounter within Toastmasters the idea that you could do a speech and then do the speech over again. I mean, I'd encountered it, yeah, other people had mentioned it, but now within Pathways, that's one of the first projects you do. You do a speech, you get evaluation on that speech, you then incorporate the evaluation into the speech, and you give the same speech again. I mean, it's mind-blowing, because up until this point, at least a year for me in Toastmasters, I thought that once I gave a speech, it was gone. I couldn't do that speech again. Now, this comes from my theater background, because you do a performance and it's over. So I thought it was the same. You do a speech and it's over. But that's not really what happens. I mean, within our own professional lives and presentations and our work days, oftentimes I've encountered people that give presentations over and over and over and over. So now that has become an integral part of Pathways. And that's just one of those nuggets that I found. As I'm working through presentation mastery, I started to get the sneaking suspicion that I was cheating myself. I was cheating myself because I wasn't really challenging myself in all the areas that I could challenge myself. Yeah, networking. I hate it. But you know, there is a specific path that deals with networking, strategic relationships. I decided that if I was going to be a Pathways evangelist and talk about how good it was for helping people conquer communication and leadership in their own life, I needed to do something that was uncomfortable for me. So I signed up for the strategic relationships. And yes, I am going to attend networking events. I am going to find out about those strange things they call networking events. And then, as per the project in Pathways, I'm going to go back to my home club and report how scared I was at the time. Because stepping up in front of people to give a presentation doesn't bother me. I enjoy it. I know I'm weird in that way. But if you put me in a room where I have to network with people, it's just amazing. I challenge you. Figure out what you want to work on in your life, and then go to Toastmasters.org, look into Pathways, start figuring out one of those 10 individual paths that would challenge you. Or if you want, start with something familiar. But the key part of this whole thing is start into the Pathways journey, because you don't know what you're going to find, and I think you're going to really like it in the process. Toastmasters.org.